Okay, so the last thing I'm going to talk about here is how to add the extensions that I have in my game, which are um, the start screen, the play button, and then the bonus. So I added a bonus every time you get up 10 points. It like gives you another bonus 10 points, and then this like power up sound is made or whatever. I can show you what that looks like and sounds like. So we'll just click play. I improved my game just a little bit. So just for testing purposes, I changed it so whenever you touch the candy, yeah, so you get this power up and you get extra points every time you get to a certain point level. So right now it's really easy to get to those point levels just because I changed the amount of points that you get. So I'm actually going to go change that back so it's not quite as easy. So change candy by, I'll do change candy by 2. Okay, all right. So what my game has is it has this start screen here. This says Happy Valentine's Day, and then there's a play button. It says Flappy Hippo game. I did not create this in the backdrops. If you look at my game, which is Project 452679547, this has they're actually separate sprites. So this sprite um, is a backdrop that's got something written on it, but I created it as a sprite. So the way I did that was I went into backdrops and I went to click a backdrop and I found one that was a pretty pattern that I liked, like the stripes. Okay, and so then that's in the backdrop, and I just dragged that backdrop into, actually, I went to costume, and I dragged that backdrop into my backpack, and now it's right here. So I can actually, when I want to create a sprite, I can paint a new sprite here and then drag those stripes into the costume so it fills up the entire space. Oh, that's not good. I moved it over. Okay, I'm going to delete this sprite because I don't want to mess up my whole game, but that's how I got that pretty back pattern. And then if you look at, I don't want this backdrop. I want the heart backdrop to be my game backdrop. So if you look at the sprite, and then what I did is I had this straight background, and then I used the text tool to add text on top because I know my play button's going to go in the middle. And then I made another sprite where I just literally scribbled here, like I just took my paintbrush tool and I made my brush size really big, like 3. And then I went, I scribbled all over the place and made myself a nice background to write my text on. And then I used the text tool and I chose my font. I don't know, you can use Pixel and maybe use a contrasting color like yellow. Ooh, I don't like that. It's kind of greenish yellow. I don't like that. Make my saturation nice and bright. And then you can use your text tool and just write any text you have here. And then you can increase the size of that there. And we can make that into a button. Okay, so this is my and then when I click that button is when the game starts. So there's this thing called a broadcast. So I'm going to click save now. This game. Okay, so I'm going to use something called a broadcast. A broadcast isn't what you think it is. A broadcast isn't anything that appears on the screen. It's just a command that you're sending to your entire program. So I said when green flag clicked, I want that play button to show, and I want it to go out into the front of everything, into the front layer. So it's in front of everything. And then it's going to go to the specific location. So it shows up in the space between the text on my on this sprite here. So it's going to show up in that space there. And then if you look at the code here, it says when the sprite is clicked, broadcast play. Okay. Play is not a command in Scratch. Play is just a series of letters. I could have said broadcast Fred. It doesn't really matter. And then I'm going to hide this sprite that says play. And then everything, all of these are going to hide as well. So if you look at the code here, this says, when I receive play, forever hide. So this set of text is going to hide as well. You can see why I didn't do this as a backdrop, because I want individual control over the when and where these things appear. And then my backdrop is just the actual place where my game plays, and I have some sound on that. I encourage you at this point, I know I'm going really fast right now, but you have the link to my Flappy Hippo game. I really encourage you to start diving into my program code and learning how things are put together by either borrowing my sprites and backdrops or by looking at the code and using that as a guide to build what you need to build. This is how a lot of Scratchers operate. This is how I learned most of my coding skills, and I encourage you to start doing that instead of waiting for the next tutorial. Okay? All right. That's it.